If you want to be successful in life, you got to know how to draw the line between friends and business. What's going on, guys? It's Uzziah, your success consultant. And in today's video, we're going to talk about boundaries. Because I get a lot of messages from people asking me, hey, Uzziah, I'm thinking about starting a business with my friend. Do you think that I should go ahead and do it? Hey, Uzziah, I got this great idea and I want to bring in one of my closest friends on board so that way we could partner up and build something great. Do you think that I should do that? I get so many messages about this really every single week that I decided to make a video about it. So as always, I'm going to give you the top 3 things to help you decide whether or not you should start a business or any other type of venture having friends on board. So first and foremost, I can safely tell you, you want to be able to bring in somebody that's extremely competent into your company, not just because they're your friend. A lot of you guys, you want to be able to start up a business, you want to be able to hop into some type of joint venture, you want to get something real established, and if you just try to base it on friendship alone, it's not going to go anywhere. You're a lot more likely to damage your relationship that you have with your friend if you start a business than if you just turn it down straight out of the gate because you know that it's not going to work. The only way that a business is ever going to grow is if it has key players on board from day one to really get some big results out of the gate. So don't just hire them just because they're a friend alone. A couple of the things that you want to think about is, have you ever worked with this person before in a professional capacity? I don't care whether they have a job and you know about it. I don't care whether their job has some fancy title. Have you ever seen them work before in a professional capacity? Do you have any references? Do you know what type of working style that they have? Do they like to be micromanaged, or do they not like to be bothered at all? Are they isolated? There's a lot of things that you need to know about your friend if you want to be able to have any type of chance of being able to bring them on as a partner. When you're starting out a business, a lot of times partnerships don't work. You see a lot of media stories about, all these successful companies that had co-founders and had this and had that. But the honest reality is the majority of the companies that you don't see have failed under partnership strategies. In fact, 80% of all businesses fail within the first 5 years of starting, and many of those businesses had partnerships in them. I'm not saying that having a sole proprietorship is always the winning formula, but what I am saying is if you bring somebody onto your team and they don't perform at the level that you need them to perform, and they are your friend, it's going to be harder for you to take them out of the organization. It's going to cause problems with you being able to actually build your business. And it's going to strain the relationship that you had with that person if leading up to those business problems, everything was going good in the first place, okay? You got to know that they are extremely competent, and you have to base your decisions on their competence rather than their favor in a friendship, okay? Second thing, when you partner with a friend in a business or any other venture, you need to very clearly state the roles, the expectations, and the outcomes before you get started. I'm going to say that again. If you're going to have a friend that's going to start a business with you, maybe you've already started the business, you just want to be able to bring them on board. You need to be extremely clear about the roles, the expectations, as well as the outcomes in order for you guys to be successful in a partnership. It's going to be very unfair to the person that you onboard in your company, whether they be a loved one, a friend, someone that you hold in high regard on a personal level. Is going to be very hard and very unfair to them if you onboard them and you're just looking for them to work, but you haven't actually stated what you want them to be able to do in order to make a contribution to your company. You know, I know that personally, one of the biggest struggles that I've always had whenever I've entered into an arrangement where I might have had someone that I care about on a personal level come in a company is I kind of look at everyone's performance based upon my own personality style and lens, which is a mistake. That's unfair to them because when I come into it with the mentality that, yeah, everybody just has to be like me, that means that I'm looking forward to everybody just without any sense of direction whatsoever. You're just starting, you're working, you don't need a lot of management, you're going to figure it out, and you're just going to start getting things done. The true reality is if you're the boss of a business and you're bringing somebody in under a partnership, you have to enforce roles, expectations, and outcomes so that way your friend knows how to fulfill them. You really need to be very candid with this up front because if you don't state the expectations and then you get into a business with them and you have all of these demands, chances are you're not always going to voice these things to your friends because you don't want to create problems in the relationship. And again, it's just going to make things very odd and very funny between the both of you. You don't want to do that. You want to be very clear up front so that way you guys can keep the relationship as steady as possible. The third thing that I'm going to share with you in this video, if you're going to onboard a friend into your company, you need to be very careful about the spirit of entitlement. Many friends that you will bring along into whatever it is that you're trying to do, if it's serious, I don't care if you're starting a business, if you're working on a project, whatever it is that you're trying to do that is of value to you in the world. If you bring on a friend and you enter into a partnership, there's going to be certain liberties that they're going to assume all because of the fact that they are not working in a more formal 9-to-5 type of a system. So I'll give you an example. If at a regular 9-to-5, the obvious expectation was to show up at a set time, you want to beware of the spirit of entitlement where somebody that you partner with just comes in whenever they choose. You want to make sure that if someone is working with you, you guys are operating on a set time and a set schedule that both of you are in agreement with. You don't want to be there punching the clock at 9 a.m. Your friend props up at 11 and 12 p.m. and here it is just sitting up pissed because you're like, damn, where have you been at? I've been doing all this work. Where are you? You don't want them to be responding back, oh man, come on, don't worry about it, man. What you talking about? We got to be on a work schedule. I thought that we got out of the 9-to-5 to be able to, do what we wanted to do. Yeah, getting out of a 9-to-5 is all good and dandy. And there are certain freedoms that you're afforded in having your own business. But just keep this in mind. There's certain characteristics and certain principles that 9-to-5 establishment had to have in order to become successful in business. Maybe you don't like the job and your role and what it is that you have to do. Maybe you don't like the boss. Maybe you don't like, what the company stands for. But there were certain characteristics that company followed, certain strategies, certain tactics, certain things that they did that made sure that they were actually effective in business. So don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. When you start a business, operate on a schedule. Make sure that you stick to it. Make sure that your friend that you bring on board sticks to it as well. Your friend is going to want to get paid on time, just like at any regular job. So expect them to show up at the regularly scheduled time. Don't create an atmosphere where things become too lax because it's going to breed way too many entitlements. In fact, if you know that you have a problem with saying anything to your friend because you don't want to, hurt them, you don't want to bother them, you don't want to cause an offense, maybe it's best that you don't part with them at all because problems are inevitable in building a company. Or you need to be able to have a third party that's in place to kind of help mediate situations as they go down. Because one of the things that I can guarantee is that as you try to grow any company and you try to reach any level of success, you are going to be met with resistance. And one of the hardest things that you can do as you're managing any company is managing a team. It's not easy. You always have to be able to grow. You always have to be able to develop. And if you're unable to be sincere because of the fact that you're in this friendly relationship, just be on the lookout for that and be careful about that before you even get started. Okay? So I want you to make sure that you subscribe to this channel. I do videos that are just like this every single day, really all for your learning, all for your growth, and this is going to shave years of headaches and lost time and money out of your life, okay? So don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care.